Okay, I think that things are resolved now. I keep hearing myself. Let's see, I think I've got another, there we go. Yep, all right. So, I don't know what happened with my um, OBS setup, but things weren't quite going that great. So now I've got it working again, and hopefully we'll be able to get some work done here. All right. I'm going to get started with some music, and then we'll get going on this. Today I think I'm going to listen to some Parts and Labor. So, all right, let me get this pulled up. There we go. Yeah, I had to do a bunch of messing around with my OBS setup, and I guess I'll probably have to do that again sometime. But I'm now updated. What was happening was it seemed to be just outputting a blank circle. Okay, so I'm going to be working a little bit on JupyterLab DOSBox. Now, where I'd gotten to with this recently had been that I had in the past run into issues with getting JS-DOS to support all the stuff that I wanted it to, and then I kind of took a long break, and now I'm back at it. So I'm trying to figure out where to go, but let's take a look at my PR list. Okay. Yeah, looks like my most recent PR, which I updated just the other day, is the one that I'm going to start working on. Where things stand with this is that while I've updated it for the current version of Jupyter, I ran into some issues with getting debug builds working. So I'm going to see if I can get things going here, and then I will give a shot at. There we go. I'm going to install the JupyterLab extension. Oh, you know what? Actually, before I do that, I've got a new lock file, so let me go ahead and install all the new stuff, and then I'll build it. So this uses the JS-DOS package, and what it does is it outputs, or it allows you to run JS-DOS, which is a WebAssembly port of DOSBox, right there inside the JupyterLab environment. Now, you might be wondering, why would you ever want to do this? And the answer that I have for you is that you can learn a lot about the way that, say, operating systems work and so on if you can inspect them dynamically in real time. I also am really interested in vintage file formats and so on, so that's sort of a personal interest in this. It also helps me to understand the way that JupyterLab extensions are built, because it touches on several different things, and I'm hoping to port my understanding from this into a different system, or into tools that I use for YT and so on and so forth. So let me take a look here. Finish addressing compatibility issues. Yeah, so it did a bunch of that stuff. Now, I updated this yesterday, and it looks like I've got all the services up to date. So let's see. This was what I ran into yesterday. Oh no, this isn't. This is somewhat different. Let me check. Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to be able to get things up and running again. So let's take a look at our errors that we get when we build. I did update the... Oh, did I not? let's give a shot at this. We'll get the latest versions of things. We'll see if we can get it built. What I was running into yesterday was some token issues where you've got tokens that get passed around inside the Jupyter API, and they were incompatible. And where I kind of tracked it down to, and I thought that I pushed all my changes on my laptop, was I thought that I had tracked it down to incompatibilities in the various different Jupyter libraries with the other libraries that I was pinning dependencies of and so on. It was all very, it was my fault, but it was causing some issues. So let's take a look. Let's see if we can get this up and running, and then we'll dig in. So, hope everybody's having an okay Friday. Come on, compile. It did. Awesome. All right, let's take a look back over here. The reason that I'm here today is specifically because I've got some debug bundles. So let's take a look at what this all looks like from the perspective of DOSBox. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm getting some errors, so let me just quick rebuild my YT, because I've got another extension that imports YT on the server side, and I don't want that to cause any problems, so let me give that a shot here. But while that's going, let's go on in here to examples, and I am going to pop this window over here. So JLPM, somebody was asking, is the Jupyter Lab pinned version of Yarn. And I'm basically just spouting out what I read somewhere. I don't really know very much about these different things, but it's the package manager that they use in Jupyter Lab, and it's pinned to the specific one that is distributed with Jupyter. So that ensures that you're using the same installation everywhere, using the same thing where you need to, and all that. So hopefully that helps out a little bit. It finished building. I'm going to restart my Jupyter Lab, even though I probably don't need to. Let's give it a shot here, and then hopefully we'll be up and running. Yeah, look at that. Okay, no import errors this time. And you'll note that here, oh boy, DOSBox is not listed inside it. So let me quick take a look here. Oh, I know why. Yeah, this is all kind of me getting up to date on stuff. Let me get in here into the Python one. We'll do Py310. Yeah, not sure that it is going to work, but we'll give it a shot. Let's take a look at our examples. Let's take a look at the core dump. That's the one I've been using. Yeah, no module named. So hopefully once this gets installed, we'll have a go with it. I forgot ice for my fizzy water. All right, let's give it a shot now. Yeah. No version of the module is installed. All right, well, let's take a shot again. Oh, you know why? Because I said JLPM build. I did not say lab extension develop. I forgot how much fun this is. I wasn't being sarcastic, it really is. So now let's give this a shot. Let's list our existing extensions. Make sure that it's in there. It is! Awesome. Okay. If you've never listened to the album Receivers by Parts and Labor, do yourself a favor and listen to it right away. It's just so good. Let's see, did that do it? Let's see, Uncaught in Promise. Oh, can't download the null bundle. Oh, I know why that is. We got to install the server extension. Why is the server extension not installed? Jupyter server extension list. So the reason that I've got all these different extensions is that I think what I've got to do here is copy Jupyter. I'm going to copy my Jupyter config into, and let's take a look at what's in that directory. Now I thought I didn't need to do this, but looks like I do. Now let's take a look. Jupyter server extension list. Oops. Oh, you know what? In the past, I've also run into issues with Jupyter. Yeah, okay. Jupyter server extension list. Let's see if it works now. No. What? I just installed it. Oh. What? Oh, I know what happened. I did the installation in here, but I bet that it did the... I have no idea what the heck is going on now. That's super weird. Oh, yeah, of course. Dev DOSBox. No. Jupyter Lab DOSBox. Let's see. Come on. Why is it doing... Anyway, this is a mistake of my own making. Server extension list. Alright. Still not picking it up. Now let's just install the darn thing. I don't really like that, but hopefully this will copy the files where they need to go. Status recognized. Because we do need the server extension. The reason for that, um, I have debug bundles that I need to pass around. So what that usually means is that we want to have something running inside the Jupyter server that responds to HTTP requests. This is a thing that JS-DOS requires. By doing this, we can pass information up. So JS-DOS handles around bundles, which are basically the entire DOS file system that gets passed into the instance. So we're going to pass a file system into there, and I have a debug bundles set up so that we can. This is really frustrating. I have a debug bundle set up so that we can activate things using that. Now, I am going to quick grab my laptop, make sure I don't have any unpushed changes. I will be back just one moment. All right, I'm back. I got my laptop. I had to turn the video off so that you couldn't see all the Halloween crafts spread out all over the place. They're currently being blocked by my body, mostly at least. Okay, so let me take a quick look here inside this. Everything's up to date. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's try this all once again. I think what might be happening is inside my .local etc. Jupyter, I think that might be snagging a little bit of the, that might be taking priority. And you'll see that here I've got this Jupyter Lab extension in there. So let me go back to my local etc. Jupyter directory. I got a whole bunch in there, huh? Well, let's just move that out of the way. Oh, hold on. Let me take a look at my Jupyter version on the laptop. I got IPython 8.6, 6.7, 802.744, 411.1 on the laptop. That's not a big deal. 1.2.1, 3507, 72357, 65. Notebook on the laptop is 412. But on the laptop, if I type the exact same command, Jupyter server extension list, it throws an error. Because there, it claims that I need to this is so weird. You know what? Let's take a look at Vim whence Jupyter. Because I'm getting different versions somehow. And I know this is not like super ultra mega interesting, but it's going to help me track this stuff down. So why can't I get That, I think, did it. I had to change some paths. Let's see if this does it. Oh, I really hope it does. I think that fixed it. Okay. Let's give it an installation. Yeah, so I do feel like I need to confess that this is, the DOSBox extension is fun. I love it, but ultimately I'm really hoping to port JS99er into it, which is a really cool application if you haven't seen it. If you go to js99er.net, you can run the full. It's actually got some really awesome stuff. You can load in. Here, let's see. They've got cartridges here, a ton of them. But here we go, software. You can load them all in. Alpiner is my favorite. Anyway, I think this has almost finished installing. All right, we're in the slightly slower section of the album. Okay, now let's take a look again. Jupyter server extension list. All right, let's go here. You know what? Maybe I'm not even running the Jupyter server out of 310. Having all these different. No, I am. Okay. All right. Let's see. Still not showing up, but that could be an error that's just propagating. Like maybe I've got a bad video or a bad something. Got somebody letting me know that this makes them. I gotta say, I love the Jupyter Server extensions because you can do so many cool things with them. I said this in my research group Slack the other day, but I genuinely love all the different cool federated things that you can do with Jupyter modules and so on when they work, and I have a tendency to break them. So like that gets to be a little frustrating because I tend to mess things up, but I know that it really improves the experience for basically everybody. All right, so I pip installed. And nothing worked. Let's just give it a shot. We'll see if it... It's probably not going to work, but we'll give it a shot. Because if you don't have the server extension, it's not going to, but... Okay, that extension was loaded. Is that server side? I'm not actually sure that is server side, but it might be. Ugh. Let's go to examples. All right, come on, let's do it. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So there we have it. Now let's take a look at what we can do with this. That took a really long time to get to that point, didn't it? But we can do some cool stuff. So I think I had mentioned before, I am running with debug bundles. So if we look here inside our sources, I think it should say where it's getting the data from. Yeah, lab. No, let's see, Jupyter Lab, DOSBox. There we go. No, that's not it. WASM. It might be under WASM, but really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the static extensions. DOSBox. Yeah, I think this is it. Anyhow, I'm passing up debug bundles. So if I look in here, Jupyter Lab DOSBox debug bundles, these are links to custom built extensions of JS-DOS that I built here. So let's see what we can do with that. And part of what I wanted to do today was to try to get them in a place where I could contribute those things back upstream. But I'm not sure that we'll get that far based on where we're at. So here we've got our DOS extension. The first thing I always like to do with this is I like to send in one of my favorite games from when I was a kid, and that's McMurphy's Mansion. It's really fun, and you can get almost all the way to the end without like if you know all the stuff. But me and my friends, we got stuck because we couldn't figure out the right verb for how to find the gold bar in the nest, which apparently is actually a really common thing. So I believe sending these two commands in a row should work with the debug bundles. For some reason it wasn't working with the non-debug bundles though. So let's find out. It did work. Awesome. So I've disabled input here, but what we can do is we can take a screenshot. And now you'll note that here, and let's just ditch some of this stuff, we can now see DOSBox screenshots, and it outputs the image. I'm actually not sure if it'll do it with the cursor flashing. Let's see. No, it does. So what it does is I've set it up so that it snags the image from the canvas and looks at it there. Now if I do core dumps, list index out of range. So I can get a core dump, and this is just going to display a bunch of garbage because I don't actually have the KaiTai thing installed. So let me take a quick look at Jupyter Lab KaiTai. So I built a hex viewer based on the KaiTai struct IDE. And so let's go ahead and yeah, that's Python. Let's install it. And so now I should be able to view the hexes in just a moment. But let's see if I can send another command to this. db.send command mat. All right, so it does still work. We can send keystrokes and so on. There are a couple specific things that are odd about this. Well, here, I'll walk through it once we get KaiTai installed. So here, this is our DOSBox stuff. Here's the testing of the zip file. Inside our plugin, you'll see that we have these command run functions. And the command run functions are what gets executed when you run a command. There are a couple of different ones that you can do, including execute. So this is when you run the DOSBox. That is something that shows up in our where did it go? I never use the command palette, so I always get confused when I need to find it. Activate command palette. You can also just run DOSBox inside a little window, or at least you used to be able to. It looks like maybe I've broken something in that. Now there's also pop out. If you pop out, then for every single one of the oh yeah, there's the DOSBox instance. So for each DOSBox instance, I set up a virtual file system inside Emscripten. So this is the one. If we look in Home, Web User, McMurphy, you can see all the different files that are accessible there. Now let's see. I can open this license.txt. Looks like I messed that up. That's probably just a buffer to base64. I think I need to update my my usage of the Jupyter instance. Oh no, this isn't just for running TI apps. Right now, I'm still focused on the DOS part. Ultimately, I do want to port this over to that. And another one that I'd been looking at was a Z machine, the Infocom interpreter, because I think that would lend itself really, really well to an interactive environment like this. So let's see if the hex viewer got installed. It did. So we'll save this, and now clear all outputs. And I'm going to restart. So when I do that, note that what happens is my entire, good to see you, Sean. My DOSBox widget goes away here. So let's go. That zooming animation is something that I do want to figure out how to stop actually. Okay, so let's do a core dump. We look down here at the core dumps, and so this is the Kaitai struct hex viewer, and I've set it up so that we've got this little set of registries here, and it'll pop over to it. So the ES segment, if you click on that, you'll see that it pops us over there, and we can see that if it's B800, that points right here to 47104. So clicking on one of these scrolls you to that area. For some reason, sometimes it does a bunch of it doesn't always work reliably. I mean, that's all my fault. And I also want to note that this ASCII and UTF representation, that starts at the starting point. So if we move around here, you'll see that it just cuts off one after another. Okay, so let's first order of business. Let's fix our Jupyter widgets edit. So here, Webpack imported module 3 buffer to base64 is not a function. So let's take a look at where we use Webpack buffer to base64. I believe that will be inside, not standalone, but contents. There we go. If options format base64 equals base64 to buffer. So base64 to buffer comes from Jupyter Widgets base, or it did. So let's take a look at the API. They have really nice API documentation for all the different Jupyter Widgets things, but I always have a hard time finding them, and I'm not great at bookmarking stuff. So let's see. Jupyter TypeScript API. Here we go. Let's take a look in here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this isn't really the thing I was looking for. I wonder if I could just use the... All right, well, let's go over to the Jupyter Widgets directory. IPyWidgets. Interesting. All right, so usually, you know what? Here, let's see. Base. Let's find the directory for that. Packages. base. They now use base64.js, it looks like. Buffer to base64 and base64 to buffer are now in utils. So that's base manager, Jupyter widgets base manager. Let's see, is that not installed? Let's see if that works. Is it going to work? I'm surprised at how long this is taking, actually. I hope it's not installing. Well, I mean, I guess it's not that big a deal if it does, right? Okay, so let's see if this works. I should just be able to reload the web browser to get the new version of it. Sure is taking a while. Okay. Let's see, home, web user. Oh, right, I haven't sent anything. There we go. Okay, well, that's not right. This is the base64 encoding. And you can tell because there's some equal signs at the end. So we're getting closer. Buffer to base64. Options.content if options.format equals base64. Let's see, we actually want the load function. Let's see what my inspector says. That's probably from before. Yeah. So let's see. FS rename base64 to buffer. So it's passing the values, I believe, as base64, but maybe it doesn't even need to anymore. So let's see. Buffer to base64. File content equals buffer to base64. It reads it, encoding as binary. And then based on this, MIME type equals text plain. A to B file content. So that's ASCII to binary file content. I wonder why it's... Do I really just not need this file content? No. I think what I need to do is I need to say base64 to buffer on this. That might not work though. Argument of type array buffer is not assignable to type of string, yeah. Now content is of type string. Oh, you know what? Let's get back to this. We actually want this like that. The content format, that's what I want, I think. But it doesn't make a lot of sense, I know. But we'll see if it works. Okay, that makes sense. Can't find the file. Nope. I think our best bet here is actually, let me go to the type definition here. So this allows flags string undefined. All right, well, that doesn't help. Instead, what we'll say is content equals this.fs.read file. Yeah, and that's got to be a string. Encoding ASCII. That's a buffer. No matches this call. Flags. ASCII is not assignable to type binary. I guess I gotta say it's UTF-8. Now, this might totally mess it up. And I feel like I've addressed this in the past, but All right, let's rebuild it. Try again. Let's see if we can get our text editor working again. Node editor failed to activate. Yeah, I'll have to go back and address that. No dice. Wait. Case.txt. Let's try that. And let's go all the way back to which is the original. And we'll try it the first way in just a second. But it's possible that it's just sending us our There we go. Look at that. It just works. Awesome. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and commit that. I never use this tab, so let's see. Contents. Goodness gracious. All right. All right, let's get back to where we were now. We've got our core dump viewer. It'd be nice if we had a diff set up for the core dump viewer. Let's go back over here to this. I'm going to cancel. Well, maybe that'll cause problems. Now let's get back here. Oh yeah, I wanted to now let's take a look at JS-DOS. Now, this is where you'll see we've got our debug bundles, and this is really what I wanted to get at today, and you'll see that I've mostly forgotten about that. But inside the emulators branch, so here, if we look at this, you'll see that it's against JS-DOS emulators. Extract DOSBox into submodule. Oh, great. That is going to be tricky. So if I look at git diff upstream main, I can see all the changes that I've made here. And I probably should have just pushed these a long time ago. But let's see where those changes happen. So let's git fetch upstream main. Let's see what happens if I merge upstream main. Actually, let's create a PR. This updates the debug loop to use the correct register addresses. let's continue in browser here. Wait a second. What? Really? Huh. Well, that's sure something. Extract DOSBox and a submodule. So that's the stuff that all happened there now. Maybe I am way too far behind on this, and I've just missed way out. So, okay. So one other possibility here is I should just go ahead and see if I don't need the debug modules if I use a more recent version of wdirect. So unpackage.com emulators. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's make sure that this all exists. That's not great. Let's see. I am probably way further back than I meant to be, huh? Unpackage emulators. Dist. Alright, well. That's not what I want. JS-DOS. Looks like I'm going to have a much bigger task of updating ahead of me than I thought. Alright, well. Here we go. Oh, I think I might have written this documentation, actually. Emulators, DOSBox, direct. Alright. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Where does it use the, does it actually use the CDN? Alright, releases. Bundles. Alright, we've already got bundle. I forgot bundles taken care of, but let's take a look in here, see what. Alright, I think I am going to have to ask what they used for wdirect. Yeah, it's probably wdosbox. But I bet there's a new initialization. So let's go back here. Emulators DOSBox direct. Alright, so it's not there. It'll be under plugin. Resolve bundle. Alright, that's part of it. It's been too long since I've dealt with this. Alright, well, let's just give this a shot. Although, I might need to update some of the transport bundle stuff, so let's take a look here. What was that called again? Dump memory. Yeah. So all the different transports. Well, alright, I think it's time for me to head out. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I'm going to have to update this to use the latest version and get back to y'all. Thanks.